Look at a modern Forex chart, and you see currencies floating against each other, changing value every second. But before these digital markets existed, how did the entire world agree on the value of a dollar, a pound, or a franc? And how did that old system trigger the Great Depression? To understand what happened, we're going to run a mental simulation. You are playing the role of a 19th century global bank manager. Your only tools are a vault of gold bars and a printing press for paper money. By treating this global economy as a simple system of connected water tanks, you'll see a mechanical reality about currency markets that most economists completely overlook. Diagnosing the collapse of these systems reveals the specific vulnerabilities still hiding in today's global economy. Let's set the first rule of our simulation, the fixed exchange rate. Under the classical gold standard, one paper note was legally tied to a specific, unchangeable weight of physical gold. You could walk into a bank and trade paper for metal at a guaranteed rate. This is a model of global trade. We have two transparent water tanks, country A and country B, connected by a pipe at the bottom. Right now, the system is balanced. Now, let's introduce a trade imbalance. If country A buys a massive amount of goods from country B, they have to pay for it. The gold, the water, automatically begins flowing through the pipe and into country B's tank. Here is where the system corrects itself. Country A now has less money, which causes domestic prices to drop. Country B has more money, so their prices rise. These lower prices in country A naturally force consumers in country B to start buying from them again. The water flows back. As long as every nation played strictly by these rules, adjusting their domestic prices based on their gold supply, the global economy acted as a self-healing machine. Then, in 1914, someone hits the war button. The outbreak of World War I required unimaginable resources. The sheer volume of weapons, logistics, and manpower cost far more than the physical gold sitting in European vaults. To keep their armies fighting, governments threw out the rules. They suspended the gold standard and created fiat money, printing paper notes out of thin air to pay their bills. Printing money without gold backing had an immediate consequence. Pumping millions of unbacked paper notes into the economy triggered runaway inflation. A single German banknote from 1923 reads 5 billion marks. The purchasing power of ordinary citizens was wiped out. During this chaos, physical gold fled the warring nations, seeking safety in neutral havens like the United States. Our simulation's water tanks were now completely out of balance. The war destroyed cities and national borders, but it also broke the mechanical balance and the trust required to keep a global financial system functioning. Fast forward to the end of the war, financial leaders gathered to reboot the simulation and reinstall the gold standard to bring stability back to the world. But they made a critical error. They set the new exchange rates at the wrong levels. By trying to return to pre-war numbers, they made some currencies artificially expensive and others dangerously cheap. This new setup was called the Interwar Gold Exchange Standard. It was a fragile, rigid structure, barely holding itself together. Attempting to restore a past system after the underlying puzzle pieces of the economy have changed their shape guarantees instability. Let's introduce the final fatal trigger. Enormous amounts of gold began flowing into the United States and France. According to the original rules, they were supposed to print more money to match the new gold, which would raise their domestic prices and push the water back out. Instead, they practiced sterilization. The US and France locked the incoming gold in a vault and hid it from their economies. Look back at our model. By acting as a gold sink, the US and France sucked the global pipes dry. They took water in, but the locked black box ensured no water would ever flow back out. Starved of gold, the rest of Europe faced a terrifying reaction. To stay on the gold standard, they were forced into severe deflation, pulling money out of the public's hands to match their shrinking reserves. That deflationary death spiral meant businesses could no longer pay their debts. Companies went bankrupt, banks failed, and the Great Depression began. National hoarding and a refusal to play by the mechanical rules of the system drained the global economy of life. Our simulation has successfully crashed. The gold standard shattered because human actors broke the rules of the simulation. Fixed exchange rates act as a suicide pact when nations lack the international cooperation or flexibility to handle a crisis. This historical trauma is exactly why the modern forex market was designed to let currency values float freely, adjusting second by second based on global supply and demand. Those floating rates act as pressure valves, ensuring that no single country's water tank can ever be suddenly drained to zero by another nation's policies. Understanding financial history provides the foundation for mastering modern trading strategies. If you want to keep running these mental simulations with us, hit like and subscribe to see our next breakdown.